Good evening, everybody out there in social media land. This is Dr. Adam with My Family Chiropractic coming to you to talk to you about our spinal workshop tonight, arthritis. We're going to cover a couple of things. What is it? Why should you want to avoid it? And how can you combat it? So first of all, what is it? Arthritis, arthra meaning from bone, itis meaning a inflammatory condition of, so an inflammatory condition of bone. Yes, but typically when we talk about arthritis, we're talking about bone growth. Typically abnormal bone growth. And what's really cool is we looked at a study, I think last year sometime, where scientists actually using radio controlling electrodes, I believe it was, emitting a certain frequency, putting an anode and a cathode on either end of the, I believe it was the femur of a rabbit. They noticed that the arthritis that grew around this arc that was consistent with the frequency that radio whatever it was, a radio controlled energy or what have you. It wasn't a radiograph, and that's what's sticking in my head. But anyways, it was an energy that was emitted, and it followed the curve of that frequency. So quite interesting, actually. This is why we actually now have emitters that, like, if you break several ribs, they'll actually put an emitter on you that is sends radio frequencies, and it sends it in random instead of a stagnant, because that particular test was done with a specific radio frequency, and it followed the curve or the arc of that. But if it's not going to do that, it speeds healing of your bone. So it's really kind of cool. So we know that it grows due to energy, right? Due to abnormal function. That's when our body, and that's going to emit a different frequency from what normal would be in your body. So it causes your body to say, whoa, we need to grow bone to stabilize this condition that is going far too out of control. Okay. So that's basically how, and it's very basic, but basically how arthritis is formed. It's our body's response to an outside frequency, ergo an abnormal function of the body. Okay? So when the body is not working as it's intended, arthritis or arthritic formation is common. It is not normal. It's a big difference between normal and common. So we've gotten into that a few different classes, and if you guys want me to get into that again, we'll do common versus normal as a class. I think it might be a good idea. The second thing we want to talk about is how can you avoid it, right? Or why should you be concerned, I think was my second topic. So why should you be concerned? Well, because with arthritis comes reduced function. But I just told you that abnormal function, which reduced function would be abnormal, contributes to the growth of arthritic formation. So wouldn't that be like a cyclical type situation? The worse your function, the more arthritis, the more arthritis, the worse your function, the worse your function, the more arthritis, the more arthritis, the worse your function. Yeah, right? So that's why you should be concerned. The other reason why you should be concerned, guess what age I'm starting to see arthritic formation in people? Sadly, teens. We're not talking like 19, we're talking like 14. Okay? Bones aren't even fully formed yet, and we're already seeing the signs of arthritic formation. Sad. Very, very sad. So, why is this important? Well, it's important because if it starts that early, what are they going to be in 30, 40, 50 years when they're 40, 50, 60 years of age? Not good, right? So we want people to be as best they can for as long as they can. So this is why you should be concerned. This is also why you should have your children checked by your chiropractor to make sure that their bodies are functioning in the ways that they are intended to be functioning. Okay? So now we've answered what it is. We answered why you should be concerned. Now let's answer what you can do to combat it. Well, first things first, you want to eat an anti-inflammatory type of diet, which means stay away from processed things, stay away from sugars, stay away from refined things, right? All of those things have a ton of trouble in them that it takes our body's extra effort to work through. Take, for instance, if you're going to go ahead and grab an apple off of the tree, okay, and you're going to eat that, are you going to get sugar from it? Absolutely, you're going to get sugar from it. Are you also going to get fiber from it? Absolutely. You know, I was just talking with a patient earlier about white potatoes versus purple potatoes versus sweet potatoes and the glycemic index on those. So sugar glycemic index, and this is how fast things like convert to sugar. Sugar is 100 on that scale, on that glycemic index. It's 100. It is the gold standard for how quick things turn to sugar because they're already sugar, right? A white potato is a 93 to 95. Means turns pretty darn quick. Then we look at things like a purple potato. That's 77. Okay, so that slows down. Then you look at things like a sweet potato. Now, sweet potatoes are taste-wise very sweet, where purple potatoes are not, and white potatoes are not taste-wise very sweet. However, because there's a ton more fiber in a sweet potato, it takes a lot longer for that to break down, so therefore it's in the 50 to 60 range. So much healthier for your body. What that means is you don't get a sugar spike and crash, you get a slow increase and a slow decrease. So it's better for your body to function that way, right? And that's what arthritis is all about, is how is your body functioning? We want it to function the best way possible. So how can you avoid it? Well, yes, you can eat anti-inflammatory foods, which is why we got on that potato tangent, but you can also make sure that you are walking and moving and doing the things that you should be doing. Our bodies are bipedal. They shouldn't be sitting in a chair 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or even 10 hours or even 8 hours. They should be moving more than they're not. And unfortunately, in our society, we do not move as much as we should. So movement is another key. Another thing that is hands down, in my opinion, in my professional and my personal opinion, hands down, the number one way to combat arthritis, get checked by your chiropractor. We are the only profession that specifically removes subluxations, which are misalignments within the vertebral column or really any joint, so that your body functions better. Well, DOs manipulate. Yeah, they manipulate, but they're not looking at one specific vertebra to get that alignment correct. They're looking globally. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. It's just not as specific. It's like I took my car to the mechanic versus, for a transmission issue versus I took my car to the transmission specialist, right? That specialist is probably going to be able to diagnose, correct, and get you on the road quicker than your general mechanic. Just like a chiropractor dealing with your spine is going to be much more specific, much better apt to take care of it than your general practitioner, right? It's just that kind of thing. Nothing wrong with the general practitioner. We need them. We should work really well together with them. And I hope in the future we continue to. And when it comes to making sure that your spine is moving appropriately so that it doesn't develop arthritis, you should see your chiropractor. Now, if that chiropractor happens to be in the northern Michigan area, that would probably be me. And we are located here in Elk Rapids. I'm more than happy to help you. I've got a few appointments this week. They are filling up quickly, so make sure you give me a call, as well as a few appointments next week. But they are getting filled. So make sure you give us a call. Get in here. We'll see how we can help you to achieve your best life so that arthritis doesn't become an issue. Hidden secret here, your body is not supposed to start the breakdown process until well over 100 years of age. And we're now seeing it at 14. Food for thought. Do you want to live to 100 healthily, or do you want to deal with problems? It's your choice. Thank you very much. I look forward to talking with you all very, very soon, and I look forward to seeing how we can help you achieve your best. We'll see you all later this week and early next week for your adjustments. Bye-bye.